Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How is everyone doing? So in light of the new year, I would love to ask you guys a question. How does your mornings usually go? Are they chaotic and rushed or calm and intentional? Because believe it or not, your morning can set the tone for how your day goes. So for today's video, I would love for us to talk about the life-changing power of morning routines and how morning routines can make you feel focused, productive, and at peace. So let's dive right into today's video. Now, what is morning routine? Morning routine is a set of habits that we go through when we wake up. And morning routines can either be good or bad. If you're prioritizing reading, journaling, it's good. But if you waking up every morning and the straight thing you do is go to your phone, that is also a morning routine. So it could either be good or bad. And what are some examples of morning routine? Like I mentioned, reading, journaling, exercising, moving your body, breakfast, so many things. And the beautiful thing about morning routines is morning routine is totally customizable. It is not one size fits all. So if you're listening to this video and you're thinking, oh, perhaps I can't read or I can't exercise before I make it to my job or whatever the case may be, because morning routines has to be customized based on how you want it to be, things that you think you can do, especially when we have different jobs, because it could be that because of your job or due to the nature of your job, you have to be up by 6 a.m. Perhaps another person could be 10 a.m. Perhaps another person could be 12 p.m. So you see that our morning routines cannot all be the same. So that is why it is also important for you to know that morning routines are totally customizable. But now, let's talk about the importance of morning routines. Mornings are like the foundation to your day. So if you start your day with more intention and more structure, you tend to feel in more control and ready to tackle whatever comes your way that day. And studies has also shown that morning routines or consistent morning routines can reduce stress, boost productivity, and even improve your mental health. So it's not even just about productivity, it's about starting the day with the right mindset. And I'd love for us to touch on some of the key elements of morning routines. As I mentioned earlier, it could be exercising, it could be reading, it could be journaling. And also another important thing for you to know is the time at which I will allocate for readings in the morning and the time at which you would allocate should not be the same, and it should not be a compulsory routine. Morning routines are not something you copy, because I might have 30 minutes to 1 hour to spare to read, and you might not have that, because like I said, our jobs can require different things from the both of us or different time schedules from the both of us. So it is really important for you to carve out your morning routines per your daily life, because if you want to be consistent, you need to be able to do things that you can always follow through in, regardless on if your day is busy, if your day is less busy. Because let's be realistic, our days are not always going to be the same. There are some days that will be fully packed, there are some days that will be really free, and there are some days that will be just in between. And with everything I've mentioned, it is important to know that you don't wake up the same way every morning. There are some days you wake up and you don't even feel any atom of joy, you're just moody, grumpy. Regardless, morning routines have to be a consistent thing in your life. And that is why I will say this again, that morning routine or your morning routine really has to be applicable to you based on how your life goes, your work and everything, just based on your timetable, which is really important, because morning routine is something that you would love to do consistently. So let's talk about some of the key elements of morning routines. First, it could be reading. This is something I newly incorporated into my morning routine. And also morning routines is something that you could always add. The key point is to start small, but you could always add. And I've been able to add reading. And for reading, sometimes I could spare between 30 minutes to 2 hours reading based on how the day goes, like I said. So reading, and for this reading, you have to make sure that you're able to give out, even if it's just 5 minutes of reading. Depending on what you're reading, it could be educational, it could be transformational, it could be inspirational, it could be fictional. It doesn't matter. So it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That I say 30 minutes doesn't mean you have to do 30 minutes. So reading has to be at your own time. Now, waking up early. Waking up early also has to be realistic. Just as I mentioned earlier, you waking up at 5 a.m. is not a guarantee that you are going to have a good day. You just have to fix a time that is flexible and works with you. It just has to be realistic. We move on to moving your body, exercise. Now, when we talk about exercise, it doesn't mean intense workout. It could be a 5-minute stretch, it could be a 30-minute short walk. It could just be anything. Just move your body, because one good thing about exercising and moving your body is it gives you, like, energizes you for the day. It leaves you with so much adrenaline and leaves you feeling like you will conquer the world. So that is one reason why I feel, this is a personal opinion, I feel a lot of people tend to gym or exercise in the mornings. Is just a perfect way for you to start your day, because you're so high on natural hormones that your body is releasing, like adrenaline. Your body is rewarding you, so it just leaves you with such a great feeling of you feeling like you have so much energy that you could literally take up the world. Next would be journaling. I feel most people, or a number of people, are drawn to journaling. You could just plan your day or journal whatever it is you're thinking, just something that could keep your mind busy and revive your mind. Because as I said, we're talking about morning routines, and when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you need probably 5 to 10 minutes for your brain to reboot, for you to be able to, come back to your senses, like, okay, I'm a human being, I'm alive, what am I supposed to do next, and all of that. The next would be to fuel your body. It could be breakfast. If you're the breakfast type, it is important to get your breakfast in, your nutrients, whatever it is. And perhaps you're not the breakfast person like I am, then you could substitute something else. The next would be meditation and mindfulness. I'm a huge fan of this, because with meditation and mindfulness, it gives you that space, probably from 30 minutes to 1 hour, to just, be lost in your thoughts, especially when your mornings are calm and peaceful, very quiet. You have that opportunity for you to be able to brainstorm ideas, for you to be able to, daydream, because daydreaming is really an important aspect in our lives, especially if you're career minded, career focused. Daydreaming is part of the recipes for greatness, if I may say so. Mindfulness and meditation gives you that room to, be in your thoughts, be able to create ideas, be able to think of things, to be able to reflect about the day or about yesterday, but most probably today. Don't reflect about yesterday. But yeah, mindfulness and meditation gives you that space. And also, another reason why I said morning routines has to be based on your preference is the consistency. And for something like meditation and mindfulness, in the aspect where you are left with your thoughts, just that quietness, it's not easy. It's not something you wake up in a day and automatically do it. Imagine you're someone who used to wake up every morning and the first thing you do is to reach out to your phone. Then automatically tomorrow you're supposed to just sit in stillness, quietness, and you think magically you should be able to do that. In the process of doing that, sometimes your mind can wander. In as much as you're trying to meditate and be mindful, your mind might not be with you at that moment. And the key thing in mindfulness and meditation is for your mind and body to be in alignment. So it's not something you can get in a day. It's possible that it can take you more than a week for you to be able to get your mind and body in one place, in that stillness, without your mind wandering to so many other places, making you impatient and you not seeing the need for you doing what you're doing, and you end up just I can't do this and keep it moving. So that is also another reason why you need to be comfortable with what you're doing, because the consistency, some of these things like exercising your body, let's speak about things like winter or summer. It could be any weather. You waking up in the morning when it's so cold and it's like, oh, you need to stretch your body. These are things that do not come easy. So if you start now, by the end of this year, to be something that will be like a follow come habit, that when you don't do it, that's speaking from personal experience or speaking from personal experience, when you don't do it, you tend to feel like something is missing, and it's like there's this dull vibe in your day, like for example, if I start my day and for any reason I'm not able to read or perhaps do one of the things, I feel incomplete. So when you do it, or when you're able to do it for a long time, practice it for a long time, it automatically becomes a habit, a part of you, your routine, that it just comes naturally. So if you're starting and you're having difficulty, like this mindfulness, you're not able to keep still without hearing voices, without your mind wandering off, don't worry, it's one day at a time. So that is why you need to start with. Even if it's one habit, two habits, it doesn't matter. Just start small and you'll be able to process from that part. The key and the most important part is for you to create a routine that energizes and inspires you. Now let's talk about the transformation that happens from morning routines, the transformative part of morning routines. When you're able to practice a consistent morning routine, there's something beautiful that happens. Or would I say something magical that happens, that it leaves you feeling like you could tackle the world at any time. It also breeds that discipline and consistency as well, and it also makes you feel in so much control of your time, your energy, and even your mindset. So instead of just moving with the day, or going with whatever the day has to offer, instead, with intention and structure, you're creating your day to be in alignment with your goals and values. You're proactively making it something of intention for your day to align with your goals and values, instead of just waking up and be like, whatever today has to offer, we go with it. Because another thing is, life is really, really unpredictable. So in as much as you have morning routines and all of that, at 12 p.m. sometimes, or it could be the end of the day or towards the end of working hours, at any moment, something so destabilizing can come at you. It could be a news, it could be something someone did, it could be something someone did not do, it could just be anything. And even with morning routine, sometimes you see that you get shaken up, but instead of having difficulty in such situation, because you've already been able to build your mind to a point where you're ready to tackle whatever comes your day, you have more advantage in being able to deal with uncertainties compared to you just waking up in the morning and already your day is not going well, your mind is not in the right place, and perhaps at 10 a.m. in the morning, something so destabilizing comes to you. Sometimes you find people saying, oh, today is such a bad day, or you find people saying, I can't wait for today to end, or they just take it as the end of the day or end of the world, because everything is just so disorganized, chaotic, and everything just feels so compounding that it feels like you can't think. So morning routines actually do play a huge role in our lives, and it does help us get rid of that chaos, especially. And just as I said, every morning or every day will not be the same. You can have 100% energy tomorrow and be on -0 tomorrow. So morning routines help build that consistency, discipline, self-reliance, and all of that. And remember, just as I said, the key is to start small. Starting small with 1 or 2 habits to help you build consistency. And after building that consistency, with time, all of these habits just tend to become a routine in your life. But with all I've said now, let's talk about the benefits of morning routine. I've told you, okay, morning routine is good, is this, is that. But why should you have a morning routine? Why should you personalize a morning routine if you're not doing it already? The first would be, it sets the tone for the day. If you're able to have a calm, peaceful, quiet morning, it increases productivity and positivity. The next would be increased productivity. Because of morning routine, it gives you that advantage of when you wake up, you're able to attend to the more important things before little distraction comes in, because it's so easy to be distracted, especially if you're married, you have kids, you're living with your family, you're living with your partner. It could be just anything. So morning routines helps you with productivity, that that once you wake up, these are the set of habits you need to go through before you start your day. So it helps you prioritize the most important things for you before those little distractions start coming. The third would be, it reduces stress. When you have a morning routine, a good morning routine, it helps you reduce stress in the sense that it eliminates that anxiety. You feel more in control, you're more grounded. You're not always thinking, okay, what is next? You already know what is next, you already know what next is required of you, you already know what next step to take, basically. So it eradicates that anxiety of what the day holds, and for you to be able to be more organized, if I may say, more organized. This is what is required of you when you wake up, this and this is what you do not. In the process of doing one thing, you remember that, you haven't done that thing, you need to attend to this, So yeah, it reduces stress. Another thing it does is to boost our mental health and physical health. For this physical health, in the aspect of exercise, like I said, it releases you, or it gives you, you benefit from that natural high, from the adrenaline, it just leaves you feeling good, like you're ready to face the world basically. And also for this meditation and mindfulness, it brings mental clarity. When you have that stillness, that peace, that quiet, you're able to think more focused, you're able to see things more clearly, you're able to have better understanding. So in that aspect, it really helps with mental clarity, especially if you're having problems with decision making or coming to a conclusion on whatever the goal, office, work, whatever it is, it helps give mental clarity. The next is it improves time management. So instead of you focusing on irrelevant things, you already know what your routine entails. So you focus on the most important and relevant things. The next would be it builds self-discipline. Once you're able to get a consistent morning routine, it helps you build discipline, and that discipline can spill into other areas of your life, and which is the goal. So if you're able to do it and be consistent, you'll be able to get self-discipline or build some sort of self-discipline, and this as well will also cause a ripple effect on other aspects of your life. It also creates consistency, that even when your mornings are chaotic, you have a very busy day, unexpected things comes, it helps you stay consistent. You know that there are things you need to do, and having at the back of your mind that you're not just doing those things, but those things improve your mental health, your physical health. It helps, reduces the stress in your day. It builds consistency, which is a good and positive thing. The next would be it enhances creativity and focus. Once you're able to have a morning routine, just as I say, that quietness, it can help you to brainstorm ideas for your project, your work, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it enhances creativity and focus, especially for content creators. Morning routines will really help you be more creative. And then the next is it enhances self-care. When you're more relaxed in the mornings, you tend to have time to think of yourself, to initiate skincare, take care of yourself, the physical aspect as well. And health is also very important, so there are lots of benefits to this morning routine. And the last we have would be it builds momentum for bigger goals. So let's say, for example, you're journaling, you're planning your day, you're writing down goals. With time, all of this compounds to lead to a positive long-term effect. So guys, there are lots and lots of benefits for morning routines. Give it a try. And like I said, you should not expect you to start working in a week. You should not expect yourself to be good at it in 2 weeks. Just like mindfulness, a lot of us, or I would say every human being, really needs to practice mindfulness. Stay in that stillness with just your thoughts. Daydream, have the time to yourself. And sometimes these things are not easy, because we all have busy lives, we all have things we're calculating, we're thinking. So to just stay and have that thought to just yourself and not thinking about work, thinking about this, can be difficult realistically. So it is something that you have to practice with time until it becomes a habit. So once more, it is important to have it at the back of your mind that morning routines are something that if you do with time, it just becomes natural. It becomes like a follow come with you. So yeah guys, I just thought to shed some light on the life-changing power of morning routines and how it can really help you, especially for this new year where we're all trying to incorporate better ideas, how to go about life better, or what could be beneficial for us, especially in our careers, our lives, our families, as a mother, as a young girl, as a young guy, as a father, as a sibling or member of a family in a household. It is just important to have morning routines. It eradicates that chaos, which is what a lot of us suffer with. In the morning, we are rushing. Sometimes we're not even able to dress properly, or we're not able to have breakfast, or we're not able to have one or two. And before you say it is unrealistic, guys, it is doable. It is not easy, I would say, but it is doable. So regardless of your job, regardless of what time it is you have to be up and go for your work, it is possible to have a morning routine. That is why I say you can start with one or two and gradually you could incorporate them. And morning routine doesn't mean you have to read for 30 minutes or spend 1 hour. Just do what works for you. But the end goal is to have a morning routine that you can be consistently practicing, consistently keeping up with, because the benefits very much. And yeah, I just thought we should talk about it. But yeah, guys, let's move into what I've been watching this week. I've been watching The Ultimatum. I don't know if any one of you have watched it or is watching it, and what do you think, guys? This is I love to watch The Ultimatum because I feel shows like this, like The Ultimatum, Love is Blind, it just really highlights the kind of people we have in the dating scene and the way we as people, human beings, think and approach life, regardless if there's a camera in front of us, if it's showing on national TV or international TV, it just gives you a different insight to life and human beings generally. And I'm a firm believer that if you have to give someone an ultimatum, automatically you have your answer. If you really have to give someone an ultimatum, then that is enough reason that you guys should not be together, because personally speaking, I feel it is a very dangerous thing to be the one to make someone see why you guys need to build a home together, because marriage is something that you and the other party should have an alignment, some sort of agreement, being mentally prepared, financially prepared. However, it should be a personal decision. So if you feel you have to give someone an ultimatum into marrying you, then I feel you're going about things the wrong way, because no one should be cajoled, or will I say no one should be no one should be forced to see your value. No one should be forced to see your worth. Someone who wants to marry you should be able to know they want to marry you without you having to put them through a test, whatever the case may be. But anyways, let's get into the cast. Let me use my phone so we can talk about them. And two couples, anyways, left the show at some point, and they just ruined the whole dynamic, which leaves me thinking sometimes that what the Ultimatum show is all about. Even if you don't know, if it's a show you're going on, it's something that I believe any normal human being would do some research or see what the show is all about. So, and I understand the fact, whereas it is so easy for you to be like, okay, I can do this and sign up, and then when you get there, the pressure and everything is like, oh no, this is not what I signed up for, and leave. But I just feel like there was no so much consideration for the other couple, saying how it's had a ripple effect on all of them. And even Vanessa, when she came back, she didn't really see her wrong she didn't really see, would I say, her wrong, or see anything as such a big deal for them to leave. She didn't even tell Nick she was leaving. There are just so many things that is like, before you come, you should know that. To me, I even see them as a family. Not family, but they are tied in a weird way, because whatever one person does affects the other person, So before you do something, you really, really should be thoughtful of other people, especially when it has to do with showing their vulnerabilities and, just not being in control of how they appear and the rest. So yeah, that's just my own sense. So I'll not be talking about the four people who left. That's the two couples. So the first on my list would be Arya and Caleb. This dynamic is so interesting, because also Ultimatum is a show that just makes me come to the understanding that a lot of people have a reason why they are drawing feet when it comes to marriages, and it also stems from the idea of we not receiving something we want from our partner, our partner not giving us certain things that we really want, and at the same time, we're not being able to speak up our mind. Okay, no, you're not giving me this, or you're not showing up in this aspect, or just having a proper conversation. Everyone is just, I don't want to get married, but not really, having the audacity to tell the other partner that, okay, this is where you're coming short, and I would love for you to do better, because it just doesn't make any sense as to why Arya and Caleb are together. Because from the get-go, he had this reservation where, this is me personally speaking, I feel like she's a bit much for him, especially seeing he's older than her, and he keeps saying that she is young, she's just 24, she has not, at least experienced life before settling down and knowing for a fact that this is the person I want, which I understand his reservation. And she is so, I feel, in my opinion, she is so into the idea of getting married that there are so many things that are happening in her presence, and she's not really paying attention to it, because she's just in that mind frame of she wants to get married and she needs a husband, And Caleb is a cool guy, I must say, even though no one is without fault. But generally he's a cool guy in my opinion. And then the next couple I want to talk about will be, sorry, I've been saying Aria and Caleb, is Maria and Caleb. So I'll be moving to Aria and Scotty now. This is a duo that from the get-go I was just like, I really hope this girl is able to see the kind of man she's dealing with and run for her life. He is just all shades of red flag, he's just, no one is just completely bad, no one is completely good, but he just has a lot of toxic traits about him, especially the conversation he was having with Zaina, who was like his trial marriage wife. At some point, he was asking her for them to go do something. I've forgotten the first thing he asked her. She was like, no. The second thing, he was like, cryptotherapy. And she was like, it's so cool. That's not an idea of fun. And immediately, there was just this toxic switch in him. And he's like, okay, he's done with this shit. And stays saying so many negative things. And Zaina is someone that I would give props to. She really has so much grace. She's able to carry herself, she's just able to handle conflict, and a very patient lady, respect to Zaina. And he just kept going off even after boys night out. He came out with the conclusion, just transfer of aggression. There's just so many toxic things, because that date aspect, imagine she didn't even know the two things he was talking about, because those are not things that are common. You're already getting upset without even asking her, okay, what is your own idea of date, or what would you like to do? There's just, if you're saying, you just know that everything about Scotty as a partner in a relationship is just screaming red flags. And for the day of the proposal, when he proposed to Aria and she said yes, deep down in my mind, I just felt like, because he was someone who mentioned him not being able to handle rejection well, I feel like she just said yes to save him the embarrassment from the public, the producers, the cameramen, and the rest, because I knew personally for a fact that even if they had gone together, they would not last. Because even her brother is not even support of the relationship. He needs a lot of work on himself before he even thinks of going into any other relationship, because he's saying because of something that happened in his childhood, he's not able to handle rejection. And it's like, we need to let go of all these thoughts, emotions, and everything we hold on from our childhood, because we all have one or two things coming from our childhood, and if you don't fix it, you're just going to bleed out to the next person, and they're not deserving of that. So yeah, that's dynamic. I'm just so happy they're no longer together. Let them go and work on themselves, the both of them. They need it. The next couple would be Zaina and JR. I feel like this season, JR was someone that I was rooting for, because at the beginning, he felt like this calm, chill dude. The more we're going into the show, the more he just became more and more alarming. I don't even know how Zaina was able to cope with someone like JR for years without even saying who he is for a person, because what broke my heart for her was she saying the person she knew and the person she saw on the show are two different people. But in my opinion, I feel like JR has been the same person. It's just that she has not been able to see through because of the love, admiration, and respect she has for him. So she has not been able to see through, and that's someone that I'm particularly happy about this season, that she was able to, save herself, just as she said that the ultimatum saved her from making one of the worst decisions of her life. I feel the same for her, because she needed that, that wake-up call. She needed it, because someone like JR is also someone that needs, and I feel like a lot of times people just hide under this umbrella of, oh, I've gone to therapy and the rest. Therapy is one thing, guys. We're not discrediting therapy. I'm a huge pro therapy, but when someone has worked on themselves, it is not invisible, to anybody who knows you before. It is so obvious and evident that, okay, this person has done some working to do. But at that reunion, I don't think there was anything he did, like the work he did. He kept saying he has been on this self journey, and then during the reunion, he went about saying he didn't ask Zaina for the things she gifted him, just so many things. And even Zaina, when going for her egg retrieval process, or when she went for her egg freezing process, of all people on planet Earth, it was JR she saw to go for that egg freezing. When she said that, I was just like, oh my God, I'm just so happy that you've woken up. he's just such a character. And then seeing the never before scenes clips where he was talking about, okay, has he was asking another person, has he watched the previous seasons? There are certain people he's like inspired by, and he's just here to have a good time, which he and Sandy, I strongly believe, were just here to have a good time. And Sandy just kept hiding under the umbrella of Nick brought her here, Nick brought her here, whereas she and JR were not people who really came on the show for the ultimatum. They just came for their own things. And Nick, on the other hand, which we've moved to the next couple, which is Nick and Sandy, I don't even know what to say about this too, because Nick is also very toxic, very, very toxic. Imagine, like, no shame, especially for a man, going to the house where your ex and her new man is, banging the door, demanding to speak to her, continuously calling and knocking, which I understand that it is not easy to see your partner in that way. But that brings me back to knowing what the ultimatum is. You have to prepare yourself, and even if it gets difficult, there are better ways to handle situations, because Mariah was alone at the end of throughout the experiment, and she had her partner with someone, but she handled herself way better than Nick. So when he was having that his outbursts and the rest, I was just like, Sandy really needs to run for her life. But at the same time, I feel in this season, one person who they really, really wronged would be Nick. He didn't deserve any of that at all. And to think he was someone that was still willing to overlook everything, and still move on with Sandy and everything, he just did not deserve, because so many times JR kept, poking at him, making unnecessary and inappropriate statements with regards to Sandy, even after knowing that this person is already going crazy. There are just certain things you don't do and say. So guys, if you have not given it a watch, just give it a watch. The Ultimatum is a show that shows you a different side to human beings, and that's another reason I personally love watching Judge Judy. Guys, if you want to see a different side to human beings, just go on Judge Judy. You'll see how people think at 40, at 50, at 60. You'll be so mind blown as to how some people think, the kind of mindset they have, and just how they operate and go about life. So guys, please if you watch the Ultimatum, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And what did you think of each couple I mentioned and what I said about them? Let me know in the comment section if you have a similar opinion or you have a different opinion, because it's just crazy, guys. And it's also entertaining, because to me, I would say it's something that you watch without using your brain, just something that keeps you busy. It's interesting because I love to see how human beings behave. I'm really, really interested in seeing how people's minds work, So it is just crazy that we have people like JR and Scotty, and they don't even really see the damage they are doing or how they are operating or the kind of mindset they carry. There's just a lot of work that needs to be done. And yeah, guys, leave it in the comment section what you think. And also, what I've been watching this week would be the Landman. That is a series I've been telling you guys about, and guys, it just keeps getting more crazy and more crazy. I kid you not when I say this series, there are moments of joy, don't get me wrong, but from the beginning of the series till date, there has not really been a time for any character to actually have that time to, take a deep breath. It's just been one problem to another. The last time I said the cartel, now Tommy's boss Monty is dead, and they already guys, by mistake, not intentional, they brought the army there for protection, just to intimidate the cartels. And in the process of trying to rehearse or practice, they killed two workers that went for a drug exchange. So already they've gone to poke at the cartel now for real. And now the boss Monty is dead, So we're just waiting to see what next unfolds. Guys, just give it a watch. It is not a depressing TV show. I'm just saying it's just been I just thought about something new now. A lawsuit that was supposed to cost $750,000 at a point ended up costing $3 million. That was what even gave Monty, which is Tommy's boss, a heart attack that led to his death. So even though I'm suspecting he's dead now because there was a threat on his life, but yeah, guys, give it a watch. What I've been listening to this week, I've not really been listening to music this week. I've not had time. And I was telling myself of late that I've not really been listening to songs because I've not even been adding any new songs to my playlist or anything. But yeah, I can't wait till I'm more free and I'm able to get to listen to more songs, and hopefully some of my fave get to release new songs. Before we go, guys, I would love for us to go into our quote for this week. What's our quote for this week? Our quote for this week says, even though it doesn't feel like it right now, you're going to end up exactly where you need to be, with the people who love you the most, doing what you were created to do. Until then, just keep going. And yeah, guys, I just want to encourage you once more to remember to develop a morning routine. The benefits are endless. It is really productive, it is really transformative. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be what works for you. It just has to be what energizes and inspires you. Whether you spare out 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, it doesn't matter. Starting your day with intention is all that matters. And thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Give this video a thumbs up, like it if you haven't, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I make a post. I normally post every Fridays 4 p.m. European Standard Time. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week.